Welcome in to a special DNVR Talks. Rudo and AJ here for DNVR Avs, talking with our guest, Colin Wilson. Colin, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. Much appreciated. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
I see your face cut out behind you there real quick. I got to ask, what's going on with that?
I just had my I just had my 31st birthday, and my girlfriend, we went to a dinner party, and we had to play some type of a game where my face being cut out was part of the game. So that's funny.
All right. Well, happy birthday then.
Thank you. My girlfriend's about to clean that up. I'm not that narcissistic.
A great addition to the background.
Yeah.
Much better than a bookcase with a picture of where you went to school.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, obviously, just the other day you released your Playerstribune article, obviously talking about some pretty heavy stuff and your battle with OCD. And obviously, AJ and I read it and thought it was really awesome. So I guess we kind of wanted to start there and get into your journey through being a professional hockey player and dealing with that.
Yeah. No, it's been so well received. It's been great to feel supported and to help other people feel supported. So it's been a very interesting 24 hours and something that I had thought about quite a bit for the last three years of publishing, and glad it finally came out the way it did.
What was kind of the catalyst behind you deciding to actually seek that out and write it?
For one, when you do, I don't know. I mean, I've been doing like a lot of work on myself the last 3 years since I kind of hit that rock bottom that I mentioned in the article. And I think when you get to a certain point when you've been helped so much, the next thing you want to do is help other people. And I just felt like this would be a great way to be able to be of service to other people. So that was kind of what I was thinking. And then the opportunity just came up, and it seemed like the right time finally. So went for it.
It was a pretty interesting topic because it's not, we've heard a lot of about hockey players and some addiction issues that they've had and substances and things like that. OCD is kind of one of those things that people they don't think of in that kind of debilitating or negative light. It gets portrayed as kind of like this like quirky personality thing, For you, when did you really start to feel like this is a problem?
Probably around 27. But even then, honestly, I'd grinded through it since I started noticing it at like 16, and it was truly a whole life thing. So yeah, I noticed it for a long time. Finally decided it was kind of overtaking my life, especially at 27. But it's amazing the amount of, I think everybody deals with a lot of pain on a regular basis, and for professional athletes, you're taught how to put your head down and kind of get through pain. So I still was able to do that for quite a few years.
The hockey players, especially, you guys are infamous for your game day routines. I can't tell you the number of times that I've shown up at Pepsi Center and seen Matt Duchene sitting on the bench before the game, in the darkened arena with the headphones in and, things like that. When did you start to feel like this was something that went beyond game day routine?
Yeah, well, it's actually funny because like I don't have much of a game day routine. That wasn't the way it manifested for me at all. I mean, I just it's actually funny how it works and people's understanding of it as well. But for me, it really was like, I mean, kind of what I spoke about in that article was like the days where all of a sudden I'm looking down and I'm like, oh geez, I have blood on my laces right now, and I still couldn't stop retying my skates, and where all of a sudden I'm going, okay, it's obviously not an issue with my skates, it's something that's happening kind of in between my ears, and I still can't stop doing it, almost like, and it's very comparable to an addiction in itself. So it's kind of taken over my life. I started bringing it home. I started worrying about how my skates were going to feel the next day. Just kind of at that point began taking over my life once it started manifesting in the retying of the skates.
Was this all manifesting, and you talked about hitting bottom a little bit in your article, was that part of the catalyst to wanting to get out of Nashville and come to Colorado?
I think it's just something that was a part of my journey that I didn't necessarily have control over. I think both sides had decided to part way at that point. It wasn't necessarily my decision. So it's something that I look back and it's huge. I think I needed a change of scenery, and but it certainly wasn't something conscious that I decided to do.
You know, in your piece, you had talked about psychedelics and kind of the stigma around the word. Do you think that ending up in Colorado, because you said that wasn't part of your decision in the journey, you ended up here in Colorado. Do you think that ended up being a pretty big blessing because Colorado is where it is in certain areas of the world when it comes to substances and things?
I think so to an extent. I mean, I think that I think Colorado is doing a good job of kind of bringing that underground practice out so it can become regulated, and I think people will building up the data to show the benefits of it, which I think is huge. I think it's very cool to be in Colorado for that reason, but it seems to be something that's popping up everywhere. That's getting more popular. People are realizing the benefits of it. So no matter where I was, I mean, you can truly find it and find a facilitator. But I also agree with the way Colorado is going about it, you know, with the decriminalization of psilocybin and allowing for more research on topics or on the psychedelic medicine like that.
It's a fascinating topic because, you know, it's still so taboo in the minds of so many, but you know, you're finding it to be very helpful in your journey now that you're on. You know, what kind of message would you have to people that are maybe a little bit on the fence about it?
Sorry, in regards to the plant medicine type stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very eye-opening. It's as if you can, for a moment, you get to go to another place where you're not as connected. You get to look at all of your stuff and kind of see it from a different perspective, and it gives you that room to be able to give you the space to grow that other methods don't quite have. And at the same time, like, I mean, it gives you a connection to a more spiritual take on life, and kind of awakens you to like the mystery of it and the connection that's missing. And so I think it just has the ability to awaken your mind to areas in a very deep and profound way.
You stated you were going back to school for psychology. I suspect that's not a coincidence that you picked that major. Is there any plans you have to do something with that once you get that degree?
Yeah, we're gonna see where it all takes me. It's another area where I want to be of service, but I certainly want to do the work on myself enough and get the requirements I need to be able to help people properly. So we'll see what capacity that'll bring if I go to grad school or what happens with that. But it's something I'm very much interested in. I want to help myself, want to help others. So we'll see where it takes me.
You know, the path towards wanting to help people at this stage in your life. You just turned 31. You still have an entire life in front of you. You know, you've already had a successful NHL career. You've done so much already. You know, do you view this as kind of like okay, well, now what's the next like stage of your life?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a scary time and an exciting time. Kind of going towards the next stage of your life, but I think having this is something that I want to do and something that I'm very passionate about. I'm very excited about. I truly, the conversations that I had and the messages that I've gotten from this, truly, it was hard to compare scoring a goal in front of 18,000 people to anything. But some of the messages that I've gotten, that feeling that you get is like very comparable and actually kind of surpasses it. So as somebody leaving the game and wanting to, get those strong feelings it's just such a perfect path. But again, we'll see to what capacity I get involved. But I'm very grateful to be moving in that direction, even if it's just with the article.
Obviously this is the very beginning for you, and the article was step one of who knows how many towards, and you've already kind of made it clear here that you're very open-ended on how this plays out and where you head with this. But I am curious, there's no doubt other players in the league that are still in the league that they're gonna have struggles with something like this. Do you think that, where you're headed next, you could circle back around and kind of tie these two worlds together?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few worlds that need to be tied together, and I think one of them is the mentality around sports. And I think a lot of people have come out and said that they've had struggles with it, and it's something that I'd love to be involved with. But truly for right now, I think writing that article was great, and I may go back into kind of out of the public eye for a bit to do more work before I circle back around. But it's something I would definitely love to be involved in.
Kind of off topic a little bit, but we are an Avalanche podcast, so I do have to ask if you have any memories or cool stories from your time with the Avs.
That game the fact that it got down to game 82 to make it to the playoffs, was pretty exciting. To be able to play a game 7 at home on game 82 is just one of the coolest things I've been a part of. And I think between that dressing room was amazing to be a part of. I mean, the guys in it, it's pretty amazing. The culture of that dressing room is pretty amazing. So it was all pretty incredible being with the Avs.
We're talking to Mark Barberio next week, and he I remember I talked to him after game 82, and he was really, really emotional. And that was one thing he talked about, was that team, specifically the locker room and that group of guys. Obviously the last couple of years of teams have been pretty good and have been pretty tight knit, but was that there just felt like there was something different about that group, that you guys played for each other on a different level.
Yeah. It's amazing how much that has to do with success and guys feeling comfortable. And it became a locker room where guys truly cared about each other. I mean, not to take away from Nashville's locker room, there are some amazing people in it, but it's a very touchy-feely, emotional group with each other. It was very eye-opening almost for me to see. So I think that definitely played a huge role in our team doing so well.
In tying the two together, you received a ton of support yesterday, and from former Avs teammates. People sent me pictures and screenshots of lots of guys reaching out to you yesterday on various social media platforms to show their support for you in the article. Did it just sort of tie in together? That was a touchy-feely group, and then you write that article, and those guys all come out of the woodwork and shower you with affection, really.
No, yeah. I mean, it meant a lot. Yeah, it meant a lot to me for the guys. I mean, I've gotten a lot of messages from them as well. It definitely speaks to a lot of their characters and how comfortable they made me feel. But I think at the same time, comparatively to where I used to be around my connection with teammates to now, it just kind of more illustrated the work that I had also done on myself to have those close connections with those guys. So a little bit of give and take in those relationships.
Well, I could speak personally. It was always a joy to have you in the Avalanche locker room. The conversations that we had over the last couple of years, I always appreciated the time that you took, and so I just wanted to say thank you. You were always a good dude to me, and I always appreciated that.
No, thank you. No, it was good having me in the locker room.
I think we're set.
All right. Anything else you want to shout out, Colin?
No, I think I'm definitely good. Thank you very much.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. If anyone watching this hasn't read his Players Tribune article, please go do so. It's an excellent article. Highly recommend it. But yep, thank you, Colin, again for coming on the show and talking to us. We appreciate it a bunch, but we're going to get out of here for this one. We'll talk to everybody next